A good idea does not fail only because people do not understand its value. It often fails because accepting it feels uncomfortable, confusing, risky, or tiring. You may rewrite the same email, explain the same plan again, or offer another discount, yet the other person still does nothing. The real question is not only, how attractive is my idea? It is also, what makes this idea hard to accept? That question sits at the center of The Human Element by Loran Nordgren and David Schonthal. The book explains why new products, habits, and plans often meet hidden resistance. It also gives us useful English words for talking about change, decision-making, trust, and human behavior. Most people try to create change by adding more force. They explain more benefits, repeat more reasons, offer more rewards, and speak with greater confidence. That sounds reasonable, but there is a problem. More pressure can create more resistance. Sometimes the better strategy is not to push harder. It is to remove what is getting in the way. Think about a workplace example. A manager introduces a new project tool. She explains that it will save time, improve teamwork, and reduce mistakes. Everyone agrees during the meeting. 2 weeks later, most employees still use email and spreadsheets. The manager assumes they are lazy or negative, but that judgment may be wrong. Perhaps the tool feels unfamiliar. Perhaps setup takes too long. Perhaps employees worry that the new system will expose their mistakes. Perhaps they feel the decision was forced on them. These are different problems, and each needs a different solution. The book groups these hidden barriers into 4 kinds of friction: inertia, effort, emotion, and reactance. Friction means anything that makes action feel harder. Inertia is the pull of the familiar. Effort is the time, energy, or confusion required to act. Emotion is the fear, embarrassment, or loss connected to change. Reactance is the desire to resist when we feel controlled. These forces often matter more than another list of benefits. This idea changes how we understand persuasion. We usually look at our own plan and ask, why would anyone say no? A better question is, what would this person have to give up, learn, risk, or explain in order to say yes? That moves attention away from our pride and toward the other person's experience. The first friction is inertia. Inertia is the tendency to continue with what already feels normal. People often prefer a familiar system, even when it is not very good. Familiar things require less attention. New things ask the brain to notice, compare, remember, and decide. That extra mental work can feel unsafe. Suppose your team has used the same weekly report for 5 years. The report is slow and full of repeated information. You create a cleaner version that takes half the time. Logically, everyone should welcome it. But the old report feels known. People know where each number goes and how the boss reads it. To reduce inertia, make the new idea feel connected to something familiar. Do not present it as a total break from the past. Show what will stay the same. Explain the new process using words and images people already understand. A budgeting app might feel easier when it looks like familiar envelopes for spending categories. Another method is gradual exposure. Instead of asking people to change everything on Monday, begin with one small part. Let a team test one feature before moving the whole project. Let a family try one new evening routine for 3 days. Small steps lower the feeling of danger and allow familiarity to grow. But what happens when people like the idea and still do not act? The problem may not be fear of change. It may be the simple fact that the action requires too much effort. Effort includes more than physical work. It includes time, money, attention, paperwork, unclear instructions, too many choices, and too many steps. A person may honestly want to join a class, change a bank account, or start a healthier routine. But if the path feels confusing, intention disappears before action begins. Consider an online course with a strong promise. The lessons are useful, but registration asks for several forms, a long profile, an email code, a separate payment page, and another login. Each step seems small. Together, they create a heavy burden. The student does not reject the course. The student simply closes the page. The answer is to create a clear route. A route tells people what to do first, what happens next, and when the process is finished. Good instructions remove ambiguity. Ambiguity means not knowing what something means or what to do. When people feel lost, they often choose the easiest option, which is usually doing nothing. You can also use triggers. A trigger is a clear moment that starts an action. Exercise more is weak because it has no starting point. After I finish lunch, I will walk for 10 minutes is stronger. The meal becomes the trigger. In business, when a customer asks about setup, send this one-page guide creates the same clarity. Streamlining is another useful idea. To streamline means to remove unnecessary steps. Draw the full experience from beginning to end. Notice where people wait, repeat information, make extra decisions, or feel confused. Then remove one point of friction. Small changes in the process can create larger changes in behavior. Defaults also matter. A default is the option that happens when people make no extra choice. Because people often stay with the easiest path, defaults can strongly guide behavior. They should be used carefully and honestly. A good default helps people reach the choice they already want. A bad default hides costs or makes cancellation unfairly difficult. Limited choices can reduce effort too. More options do not always create more freedom. Sometimes they create decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is the mental tiredness that comes from making too many choices. A manager who offers 3 clear project options may get a faster answer than one who offers 15 unclear possibilities. If this idea is helping you notice hidden effort in your own work or habits, save this video. Later, choose one process you use often and remove just one unnecessary step. That small test will show you whether friction, not motivation, is the real problem. Now we come to the third friction, emotion. This barrier is harder to see because it lives inside the person. People may not explain it clearly, and they may not fully understand it themselves. A decision can threaten pride, identity, safety, belonging, or dignity, even when the practical benefits look obvious. A company may offer employees a training program, but some workers avoid it. The manager thinks they do not care about growth. In reality, they may fear looking unskilled in front of younger coworkers. The training has functional value, but it also carries an emotional cost. Ignoring that cost makes the program weaker. Picture a music store that wants more beginners. The staff members are talented musicians, but they correct every customer's posture and technique. They believe they are being helpful. New customers feel judged. The store offers strong functional knowledge, but the emotional experience is painful. People leave before they are ready to learn. To discover emotional friction, ask open questions. Do not ask, "Do you like our service?" That invites a quick yes or no. Ask, "What felt uncomfortable? What were you worried might happen? What made you stop?" Then listen without defending yourself. You may need to ask why several times, but the goal is not interrogation. A customer says the software is too complicated. Why does that matter? Because mistakes might be visible. Why is that a problem? Because the customer fears looking careless in front of the team. Now the real barrier is clearer. This is also important in personal relationships. Suppose you tell your partner to use a shared calendar. You see a practical tool. Your partner may hear, "You are unreliable and I need to manage you." The disagreement is not only about dates, it may be about respect and identity. A useful response is to protect dignity while solving the problem. You might say, "I know you care about our plans. I want a system that helps both of us remember without blaming each other. That reduces threat. It keeps the person inside the solution instead of making them feel like the problem. Still, even a simple and respectful solution can fail. People may understand the idea, trust your intention, and feel able to act. Yet they resist because they feel the choice is no longer theirs. This is the fourth friction, reactance. Reactance is the inner pushback that appears when freedom feels threatened. Tell a teenager, employee, or customer, you have no choice, and attention may move away from the idea itself. The person begins protecting control. Even helpful advice can feel like an attack when it removes agency. Agency means the ability to make choices and take action. People need to feel that they are part of change, not merely the target of change. This is why strong commands often create arguments. The argument may not be about the plan. It may be about who gets to decide. Imagine a team leader who announces a new schedule without discussion. The schedule may be efficient, but employees oppose it. Now imagine the leader presents the same goal and asks, what schedule would meet the deadline and still protect your focus time? The goal remains firm, but the team helps design the path. Participation reduces reactance because people can see themselves inside the decision. Ask for ideas before giving advice. Offer meaningful choices. Let people set part of their own goal. A coach might ask an athlete to choose one skill to improve this week, then help create a practice plan around that choice. Self-persuasion is especially powerful. It happens when people discover their own reasons for change. Instead of saying, you must stop checking your phone at night, ask, how does late-night scrolling affect your sleep? Then ask, what would improve if you stopped 30 minutes earlier? Their own answer carries less pressure than your command. This does not mean every decision must become a long debate. Some situations involve safety, law, or urgent responsibility. Clear limits are still necessary. The key is to separate the fixed part from the flexible part. You can say, the deadline cannot move, but you can choose how we divide the work. You can also use commitment. Commitment is a promise that guides future action. A person is more likely to follow a goal when it is specific, chosen, and visible. A weekly card with one mindset goal, one practice goal, and one performance goal can turn a vague wish into a personal decision. That ethical point matters throughout the whole book. Understanding resistance should not become a way to control people. The goal is not to trick someone into saying yes. The goal is to make a valuable choice easier to understand, easier to try, and safer to accept. So how can you use these ideas today? Choose one change you want to create. It might be a new habit, a family routine, a workplace process, or a customer experience. Then write 4 questions. What feels unfamiliar? What requires effort? What creates emotional discomfort? What threatens the person's sense of choice? Do not solve all 4 at once. Find the strongest friction. If the issue is inertia, connect the new idea to something familiar. If it is effort, remove a step or create a route. If it is emotion, ask deeper questions and protect dignity. If it is reactance, invite participation and restore agency. Before we finish, let us review some useful English from this episode. Friction is anything that makes action harder. Inertia is the pull of the familiar. Ambiguity means not knowing what something means or what to do. A trigger is a clear moment that starts an action. Streamline means to remove unnecessary steps. Decision fatigue is the tiredness caused by too many choices. Dignity is the feeling that you deserve respect. Reactance is resistance caused by feeling controlled. Agency is your ability to choose and act. Commitment is a promise that guides future behavior. The central question was simple. Why do good ideas fail even when their benefits seem obvious? Often, the answer is not a lack of value. The path carries too much friction. People may fear the new, dislike the effort, protect their emotions, or defend their freedom. Today, take one idea that is not moving forward. Do not add another argument. Instead, remove one barrier. Make one step clearer. Offer one real choice. Ask one open question. That small action may teach you more than another long explanation. If this episode helped you see change differently, subscribe for more book-based English learning. In the comments, share one kind of friction you notice in your life, and choose one English word from today that you want to use this week.